everyone, it's Di here with Di Stand, and I'd like to apologise for my lighting still. My lighting won't be fixed until the 20th of April, and so I'm hoping he'll be able to fix it on that day. He's actually on holiday at the moment, and I do prefer one particular person. So this week I'm doing this card. As you can see, it stands up like this. It's not even really easy to see, so I'm laying it down so you can see. This is what it looks like when it's standing up. That's in the bottom, and I call it an accordion step folder. Accordion step card. Now where did I get all the folders and bits for? Now I did this one using the honey bees and bee paper because I still have some of this left, and I do like it. So, and I actually stamped the back of it to make it look pretty much the same. So you get a place on the back here for doing your writing your message, and this will fit into a 6x6 card envelope. So I'm going to show you how I made it. And now it doesn't need a lot of work. It's really done. I've done a fair bit of work in advance because there's a lot of more colouring in than more anything else for the card that I'm making. I'm also using the Clubhouse set here, which is now retired as well, but I had plenty of the paper left, and I thought, well, and I love this set, so I'm going to make a man's card, because we need to make more men's cards because it's really hard. Some people just go, oh, another female card. I want a man's card. I want some male ideas. So at the present time I'm going to be using Clubhouse, and I've already done some stamp this and this out here and coloured them in, but I will show you what we did and how we did it, and that's virtually all the stamping there is. A little bit for the sayings and stuff like that. So this is what we've got here, and I will pop that on one side and we'll show you what you need. And it's really not a real lot of things. So you're going to need a card blank that measures 10 inches by 6 inches. Now, oh, mine's a bit fluffy along that edge. There we go, that's got rid of that. Oh, dearie me. I think I need a new blade in my cutter. So that's our main card. You'll need 3 pieces of card that measure 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. Now I'm doing mine in black. And I haven't stuck any of them down because of the fact that what I want to do with them. You will need 1 piece for your writing panel that measures 3.5 by 3.5, which is going to go on top of there, but we haven't done our writing yet. And then 2 pieces of designer series paper that measure 3.5 by 3.5. Now this was from the designer series paper that looked like this. You can see where I coloured in on the other side, but I haven't finished with them, so I'm going to pop these on here. This was the other side of the designer series paper, so I coloured those in, but as I say, I haven't finished with them yet, so that's why I haven't stuck them down. You will also need 7 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, must have 3, 6, 7 pieces that measure 1 3/4 by 1 3/4, and 7 pieces of designer series paper that measures 1.5 by 1.5. Now I've stuck all of them down except for one, so you can see, and that was the other side of that designer series paper, but this side really didn't appeal to me very much, so with this and the black I thought it would go perfectly for what I'm doing. So let me show you how to make this, and it's really easy. So what we're going to do, we're going to be using the scoreboard, and we're going to bring this in, and we're going to score this on the long side at the 4-inch mark and the 6-inch mark. We're now going to turn it to the short side, and we're going to score from the 4-inch mark down to the second score line, which is at that 6-inch mark. So down to that second score line, but not past it. And then we're going to do a 180-degree turn, and we're going to do it exactly the same again. We're going to score from that 4-inch mark down to that 6-inch mark. That's the second score line. There's the first one. You can't really see it very well. There we go. So you have a long line and 3 squares through the middle. Right, so now we're going to turn it back on the long side and we're going to score it 2 inches down to that line that you just scored. On that, just there. And then we're going to turn it 180 degrees again, and we're going to score it down to that line one more time. So now we have 1, 2, 3 squares and a big square, 1, 2, 3 squares, little squares and a big square, and 1 square in the middle here. Can you see that on the lighting? Yes, I think you can just see that in the lighting. So once we've done that, now you can either do this on the trimmer, or you can actually do it with a cutting board and a steel rule and a knife, and which is what I'm going to do. So I'm bringing in my craft knife and my small cutting pad, and I'm going to cut a line from that 2-inch mark there to the 6-inch mark, along that score line that you put there. Okay, and then we're going to turn it 180 degrees, and we're going to do exactly the same again. So from the first score line to the 3rd score line, along this score line here, you're going to cut a line. So you have your card looking like this now. Alright, let's move that scoreboard, that cutting board out of the way, and we're going to now fold our card. So, excuse me, I have a hair on my arm and it's annoying me. I'm going to bring in my whatever you call this thing, bone folder. We're going to fold. So we're going to start along the bottom here on the right hand side, and we're going to do a mountain fold and a valley fold. And then this one in the middle is going to be a mountain fold and a valley fold. And then when we get to the top one, it's going to be the same, a mountain fold and a valley fold. So as you can see, we start at the bottom, not the first line, not the first score line. The 2nd score line is a mountain fold. The 3rd score line, or closest to the edge, is a valley. The middle one, there's only 2 score lines, so it's mountain, valley. Top one, we start at the top and we go mountain, valley, and we don't do anything with the last score line there. Once we have that, we can then pull this over nice and neatly, and we can then actually burnish all those score lines off. And we have our basic card. Now, how quick and simple is that? So that's our main card. Let's pop that out of the way for a moment, because I'm going to bring in my two pieces that measure 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and my 2 pieces that measure 3.5 by 3.5. So I've got a piece of scrap here, and I'm going to just bring these in, and I'm using my crushed curry ink pad and a blending brush, and I'm going to just go around the edges just to take that stark white off. I just didn't want that stark white edge on that edge of that card. That is why I didn't stick them down originally. So I'm going to do that on all 3 of them, even the one that goes on the back. So, and then I've got my plain one here, which I will do the same with. There we go. That makes so much difference than looking stark white. And then I'm going to, before I glue this down, I'm actually going to just pop this here, and then with my memento, I'm going to actually stamp happy birthday on the bottom. Just making sure I've got it up the right way, because I haven't got my label on this one. And I'm going to stamp my happy birthday just down here, ready for the front of the card. Okay, so let's pop that out of the way for a minute. Let's pop that down there and we can glue these together. Now, we won't glue the back one on yet. We'll wait and see if there's anything else we wish to do with it. And as I've got my, how many squares? 3, 6, 7 squares, and I've got one left to do. I'm going to actually glue this one on as well. Now if you've got a directional paper, once again, make sure when you're putting it onto the front of your card, you get all your directions the same way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move my pin and I'm going to bring in my card base. And we're going to start by putting all our little squares onto the larger one, the large main piece of card. Oops. This is such an easy card to do and it's so effective. And I really did like the idea of showing you that it could be done as a man's card as well as a lady's card, and I think it could be done as a children's card just as easy. Just making sure that you do make sure that your pattern is up the correct way, because you wouldn't want to, you'd fall out of your buggy. You'd fall out of your golf buggy if you had them upside down. I did have some help with this card. I had some help from Frances McFall, as I had trouble by writing it. I sort of went, which way do I go? So now I've actually stamped the stamp for the golf ball on the tee, and I've also stamped the golfer out of the golf set and coloured them in, so I've got them here. Now, if you're using the same set as me, it's up to you. And this piece of card, you'd probably get them both out of this piece of card. But this one is 6 by 2 1/4, and this piece is 2 1/2 by 3 1/2. So I've actually done those. So I'm just looking to see whether I put this one here or here. I think this way around, because I want to put him over the top of that piece there, which is a piece that you can't do anything about with the way it's cut. That's the picture below. So I'm going to put him there, so I'm going to pop that one down there, and I don't know where I'm going to pop this one yet. So let's pop these, glue these on like this. Oops. Sorry, you can hear my dog barking outside. Obviously somebody's walked past that she didn't like. So we have all our pieces now onto the front of the card, and for me, I like my writing panel at the bottom because it actually helps to stabilise the card. So I'm going to stamp that before I finish putting the bits on the top. So I have my front piece, my piece for my writing, and I'm going to actually stamp the words. And once again, I don't know if I got it upside down or not. At the present time, I guess it doesn't really matter. That say, I hope the next year is full of green fairways and short putts. So, I'm going to put on here this stamp here. So let me move this one off of here, and I'm going to put this one down here in the corner. So, that's just right. And I'll just get, I've got here I've got my trusty Regal, and I'm just going to use the real red, and I'm going to just colour that flag in. And then along the bottom there, I have out here my old olive. So let's just put a bit of green around the hole. And that just looks finished there now. To me it does anyway. So let's pop this onto the piece for the back. Oh, there it is on the black table. It's really hard to see. So let's pop this onto the back of the card. So this is the back of the card. And pop that down the bottom there. Lid in the ink, glue, lid in the ink, lid on the glue, and pop that onto the back of the card. So lovely writing panel there. Now that's our card. So we're going to then pop our golfer onto some dimensions. Oops, go out there. I might put a couple of small ones along the bottom there, so it's stable, and maybe one on the, oh no, don't want him on there, on his head. And we're going to put him over that, so that he looks like he's actually standing there golfing. Whoops. And I will put this golf tee down here, I think. Once again, a large one and a couple of small ones down the bottom. Or just one small one down the bottom. There's plenty. And I think we will pop this here. Yes, that's the perfect one. Now I can't have it standing up like this. You can't actually see it. So there is our card. The written tutorial we will find on Die Stamp for Stamping, Crafting and Tutorials on my Facebook group. If you would like to join, just ask to join. It's free. Everything is free there. It's just join in the fun, and you can pick up a tutorial that matches our YouTube video each week. So this is our card, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you'll give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, and leave me a comment, and I will see you again next week. Bye for now.